There are a handful of characters in Genshin Impact that stand out to me. Xiao is one of them. As far as individuals go, he is one of the more complicated ones. He strikes me as the no-nonsense type. I like that. I only vaguely remember my first encounter with Xiao. Logically, it would have been not long after Rex Lapis was brutally murdered. Though during that time, the main thought on my mind was that the people of Liyue were taking the death of their gods surprisingly well. I don't know. If my god were murdered, I feel like that would upend my understanding of the universe. If I believed in a god. While the people of Liyue seemed saddened, they were quick to get back to life as usual. But I digress. At the time, Xiao was basically invisible to me. When I first laid eyes on him, my first thought was, great, another female character, until he started talking. But like with Zhongli, I didn't know he was a playable character, so I didn't give him a second thought. He didn't really grab my attention until I saw him again during Ganyu's story quest. While some might have seen Xiao as harsh, I liked his bluntness. As someone who tends to speak plainly, I could relate. In my early days of Genshin, I was a very casual player and didn't internalize a lot of what happened. I wasn't familiar with how the wishing system worked and was still awkwardly trying to obtain Diluc. That said, I actually do remember the moment I wanted Xiao. However, it was purely for practical reasons. I had recently arrived in Inazuma and there was a puzzle I was trying to complete. After much frustration, I threw in the towel and turned to YouTube for help. The person in the video was using Xiao to complete the puzzle. Basically, the solution required Anemo. Not that I understood what that meant at the time. In any case, watching that video not only made me aware that Xiao was a playable character. From the looks of things, he was very powerful. Until then, I never took a character's power level into account, but in the interest of exploring the world, I concluded that Xiao would be an invaluable asset. But alas, I was still unfamiliar with the banner system and therefore had no idea how to obtain him. All I could do was wait. Then came Perilous Trail. That was a memorable event. Not only did I finally get Diluc, but Xiao was featured front and center. What little I'd learned about him during his story quest had piqued my curiosity, and I wanted to know more. This was also around the time that I started recording my gameplay, so I actually have a record of my experience to reflect back on. At first, Xiao did seem like a loner who was very rough around the edges, but after finishing Perilous Trail, I realized he was so much more than that. He had a family, and he was willing to risk his life to find one of them. It was heart-wrenching. That, and the fact that he was willing to sacrifice himself to save the group. That brought tears to my eyes. I was genuinely scared that Xiao was going to get trapped in the chasm. But it's all good. Zhongli came to the rescue. In any case, I really like the effect the Traveler has on Xiao, bringing him out of his fortress of solitude. He may not have patience for people, but it's apparent he cares deeply for the Traveler. And honestly, the two are very cute together. In my opinion.